Hi, today we're going to take a look at another camera bag by one of our favorite camera bag manufacturers, MindShift. This is the Trailscape 18L, so let's take a look. Last year we tested the MindShift First Light 30L, a large photography dedicated camera bag capable of storing large telephoto lenses such as the 500mm f4 or the 400mm f2.8 and plenty of other photography equipment for the traveling photographer. Today we're taking a look at a more compact but still very effective dedicated photo bag by MindShift called the Trailscape 18L. They both share a number of design features but are also a bit different in some important respects. So let's take a closer look at the Trailscape 18L. Let's start with the build quality. Just like the First Light 30L and all the other camera bags from MindShift that we have tested here in the past, the Trailscape is very well built and generally made from good solid materials. The bag seems a little less padded than the First Light, but it is made to be smaller, lighter and carry less equipment, so this is maybe to be expected. There is also less options to rearrange the interior dividers than you have on the First Light, which is of course larger and has Velcro across the entire inside of the bag. The harness system of the bag is very well built and will give your bag plenty of room to breathe. You get both a waist strap and a chest strap, which will help with weight distribution, although we would like just a little bit more padding with the waist strap. The larger and heavier First Light has some great padding in the waist. The top handle of the bag has no padding at all, unlike the First Light bag which has a super padded handle. The logic is probably that the First Light can get much heavier with all the equipment inside, but we still like to see at least a little bit more padding, similar to the Vanguard Ultra-Rise 45 bag that we have tested here a few months ago, as long as MindShift will give you a simple way to hang the bag. Although here in Israel we rarely have a need for a rain cover, the bag did come with one, which is pretty cool as it is both a rain cover and a case for one. Now let's take a closer look at some of the smaller compartments and other features of this bag. As a dedicated photo bag, the Trailscape has one big photo gear compartment and a number of much smaller accessory ones, unlike for example the Ultra-Rise 45 bag, which has about the same external size but a completely different internal division, with a mid-sized personal gear compartment but far less room for camera gear. This is even more true for MindShift's own Rotation series and the Horizon, which has a giant personal gear compartment. With that said, the Trailscape does have a nice but flat front compartment for laptop and a tablet. Our 13.3-inch Lenovo Yoga Pro 2 fit nicely, as well as our Sony 10-inch tablet in the second pocket. Unlike the First Light front compartment, which can hold the laptop but lacks any sort of padding, MindShift did add a bit of padding in this bag. You can also put in some notebooks or even thin books, pens and a few other items as long as they are not thick in the front compartment. Personally, we prefer a half gear, half personal equipment approach to camera bags for our day-to-day use, but we did learn that when we go for commercial shoots, having more camera dedicated backpacks is an advantage. More on this later. Besides the larger front compartment, there is also a smaller front pocket for your wallet or smartphone. It was big enough for a 5.5-inch smartphone with case, and with some effort even our wallet was able to squeeze in, but we would feel a bit safer if the pocket was on the top of the bag like we have on the First Light bag. One of the nicest features of the Trailscape is the fact that it has two large side pockets where you can place a tripod, monopod or a water bottle. Keep in mind that unlike the larger First Light bag that we have tested, it can't accommodate a tripod in the front. One thing that we would improve is the material of these pockets. We would like to see much more robust pockets so that the legs of the tripod or the monopod will not rip them apart over time. The First Light front tripod pocket is made from such a material, and so is the special retractable pouch that the Vanguard Ultra-Rise 45 has on the side, which is really great. Moving on to the main compartment, at the heart of the Trailscape 18L is a spacious 11-inch or 28 cm by 18-inch or 48 cm main gear compartment with a long divider and several smaller ones which you can arrange to fit your gear. From the dedicated brochure you can see some of the gear that can fit inside. In this case, a full-body DSLR with a 70-200mm attach and two mid-size lenses with some accessories. A 300mm f2.8 should also fit according to MindShift, We tried it with somewhat smaller gear but lots of it, and it worked very well. On the cover of the main compartment you have two mesh nets for cables and other small accessories, which is very useful. Let's talk about actually using the Trailscape in the field. We have been using this bag extensively since late 2016, so we had plenty of time to get a feel for the bag. Unlike MindShift Rotation series, this bag feels less like a travel or hiking bag and more like a pro photo work bag. For example, it lacks the water bladder pouch that all the rest of MindShift's bag that we have tested had. We use it as a day-to-day camera bag on occasion and for some of our short outdoor shoots, but our main use of this bag was actually a bit unconventional. We took it with us on some of our recent commercial productions and removed much of the internal dividers and turned it into a small, convenient backpack with a rather large carrying capacity of all sorts of accessories and gear that we could not fit in our main camera gear trolley. Although this is probably an overkill bag for this task, the fact that it can carry two tripods on the side made it pretty ideal, and we will most likely continue using it in this capacity in the future. So let's sum up this review. We really like the Trailscape 18L. It is an unassuming mid-sized backpack with a smallish exterior but plenty of room for your photo gear inside. Although it lacks the cool rotation mechanism that made MindShift famous and can be considered much more conventional photo bag, we found it to be very useful in more professional-oriented tasks. As we have seen, despite some basic design similarities, the Trailscape 18L is much simpler camera-dedicated backpack compared to the First Light 30L. This does not mean that it isn't useful, quite the opposite. We found ourselves using it much more for many of our productions, and while this might not necessarily be the intended target of this bag, its small size but roomy main compartment along with its comfortable harness system makes it a very functional bag. There are some small features which we would like MindShift to improve or borrow from the larger First Light series. A thicker top handle would be nice, a pouch for a water pack could have been cool, but maybe the most important, a more robust tripod holding system on the sides of the bag is really necessary if you want this bag to survive for many years of professional use. Finally, pricing. The Trailscape 18L sells for $170, this is almost twice the price of the similarly sized Vanguard Ultrarise 45, but the bags are so different in any other respect that it is really hard to compare them. If you look at MindShift's own line, then you can see that the Rotation 180-degree Panorama sells for about $200, so in this context the bag is pretty decently priced. So that was our look at the Trailscape 18L by MindShift. You can read the full review on lensvid.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. See you next time.